We all know that I'm fascinated with this Sweet Things fabric by Andover. So there's this Playtime pinwheels pattern online, and y'all, it's so pretty. It is so, so pretty. So we're gonna do one of the pinwheels, and then I'm gonna show you something else. Well, not something else. It's the same pinwheel pattern, only it's in a different fabric that's really pretty too. Okay, so when you buy your kit, or if you just buy the pattern and get your fabric, what you need are 24 10-inch by 10-inch white squares, 24 10-inch by 10-inch colored squares. They don't have to be white. I just like them white, but they can be green or yellow or whatever. You just want contrasting colors. Then you're going to take 2 of each. 2 white squares, 2 colored squares, cut them on a diagonal. You'll do this to all 24 white and all 24 colored, but for each pinwheel, you'll need 2 white and 2 colored. So the first thing we're gonna do is lay our pinwheel out like we want it to look. And actually, the first thing we're gonna do is sew our half square triangles, but I'm gonna show you this so you understand what we're doing. Let's make sure you can see it. Okay, do you see how all of these are half square triangles, half square triangle, half square triangle, half square triangle, half square triangle? And all we're gonna do is sew these together, and then we're gonna sew our half square triangles together to make our pinwheel. Super easy. So we're gonna start by placing 1 colored and 1 white together. You're gonna fold them pretty side to pretty side, and you're going to sew down this longest side. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. You can purchase just the pattern at hometownquiltcompany.com, or you can purchase the whole kit. It comes with the pattern and all of the pieces already cut, ready for you to sit and sew. The kit comes in a few different fabrics, so you choose the fabrics that you like. Now we're gonna iron them. This is my ironing situation. Heat resistant pad, wool mat, Aliso iron, all available in my Walmart storefront if you're looking for them. And I'm just ironing them open. Now, I'm not ironing my seams open or even to one side. I just want to make sure that my block is reasonably flat. All of these blocks started out at 10 inches, but that's how I do my scraps. Now, this is not scraps. These are these beautiful fabrics that I'm fascinated with, but when I have scraps, I cut them into 10 inches by 10 inches, 5 by 5s, and 2.5 inch strips, because then I can add them into anything that I'm doing with a pre-cut pack, because the pre-cuts come 5-inch squares, 10-inch squares, and 2.5 inch strips. Okay, so now we've sewn and we've ironed all of our half square triangles. So if I were doing this at home, I would do all of my pieces. So you have 12 half square triangles. I would sew all 48 pieces, all 48 white to all 48 color. I would iron them all, and then I'd come back and sew all of my pinwheels at one time. But you do whatever you want to do, okay? Let's lay our pinwheel back out, just like this. Now, I'm gonna sew these 2 together right here. I'm gonna line up my seams. I'm gonna line up this seam right there in the middle and this seam right here, just like that. And I'm going to sew it down this side, straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when I start and when I stop. And then I'm gonna sew this one across here the same way. I've told y'all that half square triangles are my favorite, and it's because they're so versatile. You can make so many different quilt designs with the exact same block. So y'all are gonna see a lot of half square triangles this year, and I'm writing a bunch of patterns for y'all. Okay, now let's lay them back out and make sure we still have a pinwheel, because if you pick up your half square triangles and you sew them on the wrong side, you end up with not what you're looking for. So be careful when you're sewing your half square triangles that you're sewing them on the side that you want them to be. For instance, we turned these over, so we wanted to sew on this side. If we had sewn on this side, it wouldn't look like we wanted it to look. So now these are our 2 pieces. We're gonna lay these pretty side to pretty side. I'm gonna pick this one up and turn it over, and I'm gonna line up these center seams. Now, if it's too long or too short on one end, perfectly fine. I don't care. I just really want this center to match. And if the center doesn't match, that's okay too. You know how many pinwheels I made that the center didn't match? A lot. If y'all saw how many, you wouldn't want me to teach you how to sew. So now I've turned them over, I've lined my center seam up, and I'm gonna sew right here. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when we start and when we stop, because my grandma said so. Okay, now we officially have a pinwheel. Let's iron it. We'll put it to the side, and then I'm going to show you how to put all of your pinwheels together. Look how pretty our pinwheel is. We just made that. Now, y'all remember how I showed you, depending on how you turn your half square triangles, you can make a bunch of different styles of quilt blocks. This is one of my favorites, but now I love a pinwheel. They're fun, and it doesn't matter what color you put them in, they're still fun. So watch this. Look how sweet these pinwheels are. So now I have three. I'm missing a pinwheel. You know, nothing can be simple. Don't ask me how I'm missing a pinwheel, but I'm missing a pinwheel. So, okay, so here is a quilt in a little more serious colors. Look how precious this is. And I've sewn three pinwheels together, and then I've sewn these rows together. So now we're going to continue to sew our rows until we have 4 rows of 3 pinwheels wide, 4 pinwheels long. We're going to do that by placing them pretty side to pretty side. And we're going to line up our seams. Now this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I don't care what you have to do. Pinch it, pleat it, pull it. Whatever you have to do, make your seams match. If they don't match, if this seam gets off just a little bit, not a big deal. Nobody notices. But by the time you get to the bottom, it's that much shorter. One row is that much shorter than the other row. So make sure your seams match, whatever you have to do. Nobody is going to notice a tiny little pleat or where you pulled it a little bit, but they will notice when one row is 2 inches shorter than the other. Y'all have all the questions about squaring up blocks, and the short answer is I don't ever square mine, because when I start, pretty soon I don't have anything left. So I just make my seams match as I go. And this is what we have. Now we're ready to add our borders and quilt it. Y'all don't forget to email me photos of the quilts that you make. I can't wait to see them. I'm obsessed with these precious pinwheels. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.